Hey guys, we've been working on something you might like if you've got a Cannon Alpha. Check out how this beast rolled in, full stock, and how it left. Tell 'em, Byron.
Okay, welcome back to Savage Off-Road. So we have got some exciting news. Cannon Alpha, Hoopless Bar, everyone's been wanting. It's finalized, it's crash tested. We're about to ship out and we've got it here. We've got the bar lined up here on the ground. So what we've got, fog lights, DRLs and blinkers. Okay, so they get installed on the front bar. You get a wiring diagram. We also supply this, you should get this, it should say A2 on it. And what that is for is that plugs into the factory loom. So that adapts this fog light straight into your car so you don't have to do any splicing. So that's the harness it comes with, the universal one. We throw that in the bin and we use the A2 harness that plugs straight into the Tank 500 or the Cannon Alpha, okay? So they use the same harness. As well as in the kit, we've got the light bar brackets, okay? These are the light bar brackets that mount this light bar on the front over there. So on this bar, you can have two light bars. You can have one down the bottom that it comes with, and then you can add an additional one at the top as well. And then you've even got the camera relocation kit. So the bracket for the camera relocation is this. So that mounts the camera to the back of that there. So it relocates it so it's not in the way with that light bar hoop there. You got your number plate, okay, swivel number plate. So when you're winching off it, you swivel that up. So these are for, the spaces are for the recovery points when the chassis has any welding or there's different layers of steel and it needs to be spaced out, okay, that's what they're for. That's part of the recovery point as well. So that'll bring this up to a 20mm recovery point, so they get bolted together. Full integration with the chassis rail, so you're snatching off your chassis rail. We got your 22-inch light bar. These light bars are awesome for what they are. We don't have any issues with any warranty claims on those. We've sourced them ourselves. Really good quality, high quality light bar, not a cheap one. Okay, with all your IP rated stuff. It's got all your ventilation and everything built in. Okay, your nut and bolts kits for everything. It's all labeled on here what it's for. It says cradle. And then this one will say number plate holder, etc, etc. That's a little mesh that you can choose to mount or not mount. That's up to you. Okay, so that can cover the top light bar. All right, we're probably going to choose to, maybe we might put another light bar on the top today. We'll see how we go. And then these are all your little cage nuts that go into the bottom of the bar. So these go into the bottom of the bar. And then what that does is that allows this and a bolt to go through there, and that picks up like that. Okay, so the cage nuts go into the bar and then these bash plates get screwed into that, and that's how they get attached to the bar. So you've got your two corner plates, you've got your center plate, you've got your little pinch weld there, your winch cradle. Now winch cradles are reinforced, as you can see. They're all gusseted around here, okay? That's extra strengthening. And then our recovery points brace the winch cradle to the chassis rail so you can snatch off it with no issues. You can winch off it because it's actually not relying on just your 5 bolts on the front face to do your winch pulls. You've actually got side mounted big bracing plates that brace it to the chassis rail. Then you've got your bar. So there you go, let's have a look at that. So on your bar, you've got your fog lights that go in here. On this particular bar, you've also got your high lift jack points, as well as your parking sensors, your hoop for your light bar, your center relocation camera, Savage branding, okay? You've got more sensors for your parking sensors, your winch cradle down here, that's where your number plate holes go right here. That's pretty much it. So we'll start assembling the bar now. And then we'll get it on the car and start disassembling the car. So let's go. Okay, I'm gonna get Sammy to start stripping it. Stop drinking my drinks, mate. This is my power, right? Mate, do not leave your stuff around the workshop because Sammy drinks it all. Anyway, so Sammy's gonna start stripping the car. So what are you doing, Sammy? Show me what you're doing. What is that? Oh, okay, these are good. These are not like the old Cannons. These are the good, you know, the good dogs. So what these are, you just pop these in, all right? They just lift up, you just push the top in, and they just lift up. It's easy as that, okay? So you keep going along, remove all of them, all the way along, all here. This whole piece then will come off. So we'll do that. we've folded this folded that back. Okay, so we've moved all the trim clips. We've folded this back. Okay, that's out of the way now. Okay, that just sits like that. Sammy's gonna get his 10 mil, yeah? And let's start pulling it apart. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with all these. 1, 2, what else are you gonna undo, Sammy? On the sides here. So Sammy's gonna undo these over here. So these are your Phillips. Okay, so he's gonna undo all the sides. Okay, then there's a 10 mil underneath. That's what he's doing under there. Undoing all the 10 mils. Okay, what that does is that separates this. So this is now loose. So this is your inner guard liner. So once you've separated that, that's what you need to make loose. Okay, so he's done all that. And then he's also undone this with a bracket that holds this bar against the chassis rail. So that bolts it to the chassis rail so it's nice and strong. There's some bolts in the middle as well that he's undoing. He's undoing that. So he just keeps going around. So undo all the guard liner bolts, come down here, undo this, undo that, undo this, undo that. So he's just gonna keep going all the way around. So now that all the inner guard liner's all loose, all right, now Sammy's gonna keep going all the way around and he's gonna undo the flare. So all the Phillips, the whole way around. And he's gonna get rid of that and then we can pop the flare off. Okay, so now he's gonna undo the rest of the guard liner. Okay. Now what that allows us to do is pop the guard liner out of the way and then push all the push pops from the inside out so that you don't snap all of them. So Sammy's just getting the guard liner out of the way. And then once he's got that out of the way, he can start pushing all the push pops out from the inside. Okay, so guard liner, insulation, and this foam out of the way, and then you can remove the plastic filter trim. Now there's a square one on the bottom, so it's quite difficult to get to, but then once you've got your hand in, you can help it and assist it to pop the flare without breaking any of the clips. Okay, so we're just gonna undo the side trim now that that flare's out of the way. And then now what that does is that releases this, and we can able to pull this out and pop this whole thing, but we just got to undo the other side first, pull the flare off and everything, and then we'll come back and we'll start trying this out. Okay, so now we're going to pop the side off. So Sammy's going to do that side, I'll do this side. You need to get around the side here, and you need to lift up, and it should just release. Yep. So that's all released now, okay? Now we need to pop these top sections of the grill. Okay, there's a clip that's standing up here, all right? So we need to lift the grill over it, which I've done now. That'll release this, and then now we're gonna grab the whole bar. Still lift up. Make sure it's all loose. That's all separated now. Okay, you can see it's all loose through there. Now we're gonna have to give it a bit of a tug. Okay, mine's released. Just gotta move that around the side, like so. Mine's all released. Okay, and then when you come back, look at this. You gotta be really careful because you've got the main harness for the bar, which we've already unplugged, but good old Sammy forgot to undo the little camera. So we'll undo that now. All right, so that's all undone now. Okay, 1 and 2. So we're good to go. So Sammy can pull that bar off now. Put it up here, Sammy, on the bundle stand. And now we can start stripping all the harness out of this because you've got to relocate all this harness over to the new bar, okay? So you see all this loom here everywhere. Also the blind spot monitoring on the side. So let's do that. This is pretty self-explanatory. You've got to remove everything. So Sammy started unscrewing that, that's your driver's side blind spot, okay? They all need to go back in the same position. So he's gonna undo that one. Then we're gonna pull all this harness, all the clips off, everything, just strip everything from here. And then we'll have to separate. So this part here right, is gonna go back on the car, okay? So we need to separate this and we'll cut it and we'll make the bracket utilizes the factory mount onto the new bar. So we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so whilst we've got the car here, we're gonna fit one of our new grills. So with the new grill, we're just waiting on the replacement badge for here to go with the grill. However, because we're doing a bull bar on here and it's got a relocation bracket for the camera onto the front of the top of the light bar there, it's not gonna matter because the camera on this grill sits here. However, we're gonna relocate it to the front of the bar, so it doesn't really matter. We can still use this grill with the bull bar at the moment until we get the new replacement badge. Because obviously, this is the factory badge. When you put that over that, it covers it, the camera, and then you pop that over and you can't see the camera. But that's all right because we're relocating it to the front of the bar. So we'll get that on. Let's start. Sammy stripped the whole harness out, okay? So we stripped the harness out already. Now we've got to strip out all of the bracketry and we've got to cut along here. So let's cut along here because we've got to separate this because that still goes back on the car and that's what holds the side blind spot monitoring. Okay, so the harness has been removed. Now we're going to quickly strip the grill out. So to do that, you're going to undo all the screws along here. Okay, so Sammy started undoing the screws. He's undoing this whole side along here. He's going to pop all these screws out along here. Blah, blah, blah. So how's it going, Sammy? I've undone all the screws. So he's undone all these, all right, the whole way along, all the Phillips. Okay, so you can see this side, we've already stripped this side out. Now this bracket is what holds the blind spot monitoring. So we need to snip along here. So Sammy's gonna show you how to undo this piece. So what he's doing is, this is the side trim that's still gonna be attached to the car. So he's gonna undo this. He has to drill this rivet out and he's undoing all the Phillips screws along here. So the whole way along. Then he pops this out. Once that trim's popped out, then we can get access and just cut this along here. Sammy's gonna drill this. Okay, so the rivet's undone. Now it's nice and loose and Sammy's gonna separate all this through here now. Okay, so that's popped out, as easy as that. Now I need to cut along here. So I'm gonna get my tool. But before we do that, we're just gonna pop the grill out as well, so that's out of the way. Let's do that, Sammy. Okay, so we got these nice metal trim tools. You just stick it in. Once that's sticked in, get it deep. Come on, you gotta go sun dip. Once that's deep, okay, it releases the tabs, all these tabs along here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this grill will separate from the bumper bar. All right, so that's what you do to separate that grill, but we're not separating the grill on this car and I'm not gonna waste our time. So I'm just gonna do a clean cut along here, okay, with the multi-tool. So let's get that done. Okay, so that's separated. So now that is the driver's side. Okay, so we're gonna go, and this is gonna hold the driver's side blind spot monitoring. Okay, so we've got the blind spot, oh, this is the trim that goes underneath the headlight and next to the grill, and we've just got the bit we cut off. Now we're gonna insert this in here. Okay, so this is what's gonna house your sensor. So that clips in, like so. Okay, that clips back in. And then you're going to screw it off, okay, here, and your blind spot monitoring sensor is going to go in here. Okay, so now Sammy's just putting the pinch weld on with his big hammer. So he's just going to put the pinch weld all along this top of the bar, okay, the whole way along, and then he's going to cut the excess. Okay, so the fog light obviously says number plate, holder, and lights. So this is the bolt kit, and these are the bolts to mount the fog light. So let's get this open and let's get it on. So Sammy's extending the wiring now. So what Oleg's doing is, you can see the colors here. So he's got your yellow and white. So where's that go to, Oleg? Your yellow goes to the blue and your white goes to the green. There you go. Okay, so this is the Alpha piggyback harness, and these are currently still getting made, but you'll be able to purchase this from obviously savagetech.com.au. But this harness, what it will do is, it will have a switch that will run into the cab. Okay, it's already all pre-wired. Okay, switch that runs into the cab. It comes with the piggyback harnesses that plug into the back of the headlights. This will then plug in and give you a high beam trigger straight into our own harness, so straight into here. And then the box is full IP sealed. Okay, so this is the Alpha trigger high beam harness. That's gonna go in the engine bay. Then you go straight onto your battery terminal, so you got positive and negative. Okay, it's nice and easy. And then that goes straight to your light bar. Okay, so that goes to the Bullbar light bar. Then you got this nice, beautiful skinny wire. Now, why do we have one skinny wire? This one skinny wire is a positive that runs up the seal of your windscreen. So I'll pop around here and show you. So on here, it runs underneath this seal. To do so, you pop this out, okay? Once you've popped that, you'll be able to get access to underneath the seal, okay? And you push the wire all the way up underneath. You don't see the wire. You pop this top trim and that goes straight to your roof light bar, okay? So that's how you install a harness. This here is the other end of the light bar harness, because we've run the positive up the side of the windscreen. However, this is your earth. So you earth this on the roof, and then the other end of the Deutsch club plugs in here, so you got positive and negative. Okay, once you get positive and negative cable, then you literally put that green cap and that locks both the terminals inside here. Okay, so with the piggyback harness that plugs to the back of the headlight, what you need to make sure is gray is your high beam trigger, yellow is your blinker, blue is DRL, green is Parker, and black is earth. Okay, so they're all your outputs for our piggyback harness. But what Sammy's gonna do now, he's gonna wire the yellow up here to the yellow on here. Okay, then he's gonna wire the DRL as well to the blue. And if you want that to come on as a Parker, you can wire it onto the green. So it's up to you how you wire it. So this is the color coding. So you got blue to white, and then yellow to yellow, and then that's your high beam trigger, okay? So just remember that. And then that plugs into the original fog light harness on the car. So we're gonna relocate this camera, okay, which is a T6. Okay, so you need a T6 Torx bit to pull the camera out. It's got 3 screws in here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you need to make sure you remove that. Now on the top of the bracket, we've written T, so we know prior to removing the camera where it is, and we've written T on also the top of the camera. So when the camera comes out, we know the orientation of the camera, so we'll do that now. We've got the plate here. We've got the camera facing up, the T at the top, okay, because remember we marked it. And then in the number plate holder bracket bag, you get 2 M6 bolts like this, okay, they're long ones. They're the ones that's gonna hold the camera in the right location. So I'll get Roland to mount this up now. Okay, so that's how the number plate's gonna go, and then you're just gonna screw it up and square it up as best as possible with that bracket. Over here, I've got Oleg popping all of the little speed clips in, the cage nuts or whatever they're called. All right, so he's popping them all in. All right, this is how you do that. So you've got to make sure you put all these in now, because it's much harder to do it once it's on the car. So Sammy's doing that side, and then that's where the bash plates will all attach to. Okay, so before putting the camera in, I forgot to mention you need to trim all this off, okay? So we're just gonna quickly go along and trim this. All right, so it sits nice and square. And then now we're gonna put that back in that bracket. Okay, so the camera's mounted in here now. It's all squared up from the back. This is what it looks like, okay, all squared up. So Oleg's already mounted this light bar in here, okay? You can see you've used a flat washer, a spring washer, okay, and the bolt kit that comes in the light bar. You don't need to use the little L bracket that it comes with because it's already got brackets in the bar. Make sure you put the lead on the passenger side, and then he's doing the top one now as well. Sammy's gonna fit the number plate bracket. You got 2 pieces like I showed you before, okay, and he's gonna bolt it. Now make sure you put this on before, because it's an absolute nightmare to do it after. It's nearly impossible. So he's just screwing that with the screws that came in the kit. You got a grippy nut on the back, and then you bolt it from underneath, and I'll show you the other side. We're plugging the sensors in. We're disconnecting it from the harness, okay? So you disconnect the parking sensors. Now, I'll just get Roland to show me before we keep going. So these little screws go in, and they've got little ball bearings so they don't pierce it. And as well as the ball bearing, they've got actually little caps that come in the kit that go on the end so it doesn't pierce the parking sensor and ruin them. But we're gonna put that all in now. So that's the little caps there. They go on the end of the ball bearing, just so it protects it when you screw it in. And don't go too ballistic on it, because you still will pierce it. You don't want to do that. So make sure that you do not lose these, because they have to go on, otherwise you'll get all false alarms. Okay, so if you have issues with the light bar spacing being like slightly out, you can use the factory bracket to take up the spacing. Okay, I can pack it out. So if your light bar is too loose in here, make sure you just use the bracket that comes in the kit, and that's sort of like your spacer, so that'll space it out, all right? So this bar is completely assembled now. We've got both the light bars. There's only one light bar included, but you can buy a second one off our website. All the parking sensors are all in their locations. Fog lights are in. Now we're gonna go over here and check out the boys. So what we're doing now is they're just stripping the car off. So this whole bit here has to come off as well. So we'll pull this off quickly. At the same time, Roland's going to quickly put the 2 side panels on each side with the blind spot monitoring, and the harness is going to go on the vehicle itself. 15 mil.
And then these are...
So that comes off, and then we also got to take these off as well. So these come off, and these are all a 13. Okay, so you got 3 there, 2 there, 3 there, 2 there. So you take those off, you got to take these brackets off as well, and these are a 10. So you've got 10 mils. And then we've also got to take off this, which is a bracket behind. That's got to come off as well, and same with the side, so both of them. So before you put the side pieces on, you've got to attach them to the grill. Okay, so we're just doing that now. And they get attached like that with Phillips. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3 Phillips bolts. Okay, so now the grill's ready to go on. The harness is dangling underneath. The boys are going to lift the grill up. You're going to lock the top tabs on. So they should just lock over the locators. Okay, so that just sits there like that. And that's that bit done now. So now they're gonna click the sides in. How much better does that grill look? So much better. So sexy. Okay, so we're just removing underneath. We've got to remove the bash plate. Forgot to remove that. Once you remove the bash plate, there's a little plastic trim that needs to be removed as well. So Sammy's removing the bash plate first. So they're all 13s. This is the factory bash plate. So now that that's out of the way, we get access to, there's a little bit of a plastic trim here. So they're like little trim clips, pretty small little trim clips. He's just popping them out. And then we'll remove this little plastic tray. While Sammy's doing that, I'm gonna finish off my recovery point. So with the recovery points, this is at the back, right? You've got your bolt that goes into the back bolt right behind here, right at the back into the chassis rail. This goes in between the plate. The red plate sits here, chassis rail sits here, and then there's another one that goes on this side, okay? And this is your big bolt that goes to the back. At the front here, you can see we've got the little spring washer, flat washer for the little, it's an M8, I believe, that's here, okay? And then you've got the bolt, flat washer with a nylock. Then you've got these other big long bolts here, okay? We can't put the other side on until he removes that trim on the other side of this, because behind here there's a plastic trim that's in the way. Once we get rid of that, we'll be able to put the washer and stuff on that side, but that's how these go. So Sammy's having some fun. What he's saying is, hey, why didn't we remove the plastic trim before putting the winch cradle on? Which would have been smart, but we fitted our prototype bar about probably 6 months ago, maybe longer actually, 7 months ago. And we can't remember the steps. Anyway, the joys of what we get to do here at Savage. Just fit stuff on the fly, mate. This is how we roll. So this is the plastic trim he's trying to remove. He's nearly at there. You'll see it in a sec. There we go. That's the trim. Okay, so we've mounted this. We've got the recovery points. So you can see all your bolts all done up here. Oh, not done up, they're loose, just so I can show you. Then you got them on the inside, okay? Then you got them up in here too, okay? 1, 2, and then you got the back one, that. So that's how they go. And then the big spacer goes behind here, and then on the other side as well. Okay, with this bottom bolt, make sure you keep this loose, because the bracket for the bottom plate, bash plate, will have to go on. Okay, so we'll do this up last. Okay, we're about to put the bar on now. All right, so everything's ready to go. The harness is ready to go here. We're actually using, because we're running double light bars, we're gonna use the spare loom, okay, that normally runs to the platform light bar. We're gonna use a spare loom to run the secondary light bar. So we're gonna run 2 douches down to here, okay, and then after we're gonna cable tie all this and plug all the parking sensors in. Let's get the bar on, boys. Okay, so we're out of the car. We're on the passenger side, and we've put all the cage nuts in previously, but we're just checking them all. Now, this is how that bracket goes. Remember that bracket I was talking about before? So this is how that bracket mounts. It goes on that lower there and picks up that lower bolt there and sits down. And because you're gonna put a nut and bolt through here, and that's how the bottom corner bash plate mounts, and all the rest are on cage nuts. I didn't show you guys putting the bar on, but this is how the bar goes on. So 1, 2, 3 bolts there, okay? And then obviously the bolts go in from the inside. You got the 1, 2, 3, like that, okay? So you got 1, 2, 3, bolt and nut, big flat washers on either side, and do them up. And that's how it lines up like this, okay? There's gotta be a gap here, has to be a gap. Okay, so the whole bar's connected. Now, the last flaps, Roland's just trimming the little flaps along here. So that's the factory guard liner. So we just trim it around and tidy it all up, and then we tuck it behind the bumper bars, okay? So it like literally tucks behind the bumper bar, but we just clean it all up, shear it all the way around and clean it up. So that's what he's doing now. He shapes it and then tucks it in behind there, and it locks in behind there. Okay, so we've mounted the our light bar box here, okay? So we've screwed it off onto this plate. There's actually a spare bracket there, which is pretty cool. So we've mounted that there, which is really handy. So that's all back together, everything's on. Final thing to do for us is to put the top chrome piece, to get rid of that chrome, is what we've got in stock currently is this tank, and we've been using this customer's car to do our demonstration. So Sammy's just going to peel the double-sided tape off, and we're going to stick that on there. So this is a gloss one, but we're going to get the Saturn matching this grille. But this is going to be called the Alpha Tank. Everything's finished. Let's do a light test, Sammy. Left blinker. Yep. Park. High beams. Before I forget, I'll show you guys what the 360 camera looks like now with the front bar hooked up. Okay, so we've got front view. So let's go to the front. Okay, so that's what the front view looks. Go reverse, reverse, and then go back to front. So you can see the camera's been relocated to the front and we have no issues. You can see the front end of the number plate. Works perfectly, no obtrusions. So there you go. Thanks, Sammy. Thanks all the boys for staying back another night, 6:15. Anyway, let's get out of here. I hope you like and enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. It's been hard work getting these videos done, eh? But anyway, Sammy loves it, I love it. Hopefully that video helps you. Peace out, have a good one.